The next area I'd like to give a general overview on is the Edit Guides modifier because that's where you'll be doing a lot of your base styling. So we saw that before when we did some basic brushing, but when I go into Edit Guides here, you can see that we have three sub-object levels: roots, strands, and brush. Right now we'll take a look at that brush sub-object level. When I go in there and I go down to my brushes rollout, you can see we have a number of brushes. The first one that we already looked at is the regular comb brush, and that allows you to, in world space, just kind of comb your hair very easily and intuitively so that you can get, the kind of look that you want out of it. You can adjust under brush options the size and strength, and there's also hotkeys for that. So if you want to go in and hold shift, you can adjust the size of that brush so you can just kind of brush a small portion. And if you use control shift, you can adjust the strength of the brush. So if I bring that down to maybe 0.25, you can see that reflected actually in the brush color. And this is actually really nice. A lot of times when I have kind of the general shape that I want, so maybe if I use control shift to make this 100% strength, and I get, a really nice flow to the hair that I like, then who knows, maybe I will have gone in and adjusted the size and kind of brought in some other kind of details in here. And if I go in and bring that strength down quite a bit, it gives me the ability to kind of comb through the hair and smooth it out in areas without maybe changing the overall shape. So I can kind of smooth out some of those areas. So that's kind of some nice options to have there. Next to the comb brush, we have our select brush, and that allows you to select different portions of the hair. So let's just say these hairs down here were hairs we wanted to select, and I'm going to go up and kind of click on here. I'm going to use Control to add to that selection, and Alt to kind of take away some of those guys that were on the side here. And if I want to adjust or comb just these, I can check this option, which is Effect Selected Only. So now I can go back to my brush tool and, I can just be affecting these hairs here. If there was something particular about these guys that I wanted to edit, then I could just use it on that. And that's true for any of the other brushes that we have. You can check that Use Selected Only. And you can always go back and just deselect or select them all or whatever it is that you want to do. Next to that, we have our Rotate brush. I'll grab a kind of a large brush here and kind of click and drag, and you can see that this is a good way to kind of click and drag and get some curls in your hair using that rotate brush. So you kind of go off to the edge and kind of rotate these around, which can work pretty nicely. Next to that, we have our scale brush, and this is slightly different than you might think. This isn't the brush that kind of grows the length of the hair, but it kind of pushes or pulls the hair away from the center of the brush. So this is good for making some parts or pulling some hairs together. If you wanted to pull hairs together like so, or make a part right here, you can kind of part the hair right there easily with that scale brush. So I'll just go back here and grab this and adjust that with a regular brush tool. Now down in the bottom row we have our cut brush, which is pretty self-explanatory. You can just kind of go in and paint any cuts that you want and just kind of cut the hair with that brush. And next to that is the Grow Shrink brush, which is the brush that usually I'll use for adjusting the length a little bit more. Kind of click and drag and it will grow or shrink the length of your hair. So this is good for styling the length of your hair on a brush kind of basis. And it usually works really pretty well for that. Next to that we have a paintbrush, and this paintbrush is for painting kind of channels on your hair. We'll look at maybe that in a little more detail in a video later on. And then we have the grab brush, which allows you to just kind of grab and pull different parts of the hair in a direction. So you just kind of click and grab and maybe push it into a direction. So those are all the basic brush tools that you have here. There's a few other options here, like maybe making your brush square or circular, and some options here for culling the back face of the roots, hiding the back faces, as you can see there, which can make your experience, if you have a lot of hairs, a little bit easier when styling. Hide guide gizmos works very well when you're working up the stack. So if I have show end result on, and I turn on hide guide gizmos, which would be these guys here. Let me just go and grab my comb brush. Then I can just see what I'm kind of doing to the end result and not really worry about those guides so much. I'll still be combing the guides, of course, but I can really just look at the end of the stack and kind of see what's happening there and how I end up styling the hair that's going to pop up after I've done everything, whether it's clustering or combing or frizz or other things that I've added in, which we'll take a look at a little bit later. So that's kind of the basics of this first subobject mode, the brush subobject mode. Next, we'll kind of take a look at these strands, which is a great editing tool in the edit guides as well.